Welcome to Playmakers, everyone. I'm Hayley Elwood. It is November, the month of giving, and we have an extremely special episode today because joining me is Anna Linsley, wife of Charter Center Corey Linsley, to talk about all the amazing things they are doing in terms of giving back. Anna, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
So you guys are new to the Chargers, but you have not waited in terms of making an impact. We'll talk about a lot of the different things that Corey and you are doing, but one of the things is that Corey is participating in the Chargers Community Corner program, which ultimately gives some of the best seats at SoFi Stadium to nonprofit groups and community organizations. Overall, why is giving back such a huge part of your family?
I think growing up in Northeast Ohio, the Midwest, it was always for both of us just something that was kind of like built into what our families did. And my high school motto was men and women for others. So that's just something that's like always resonated with me personally. And obviously, given our circumstance with Corey being in the NFL and having a platform to really bring awareness to some amazing causes and remind people how important giving back is, that's something we just like didn't want to let fall to the wayside. And so we just jumping in.
It's a good way of putting it. And one of the organizations that you guys work so closely with is CASA, which is court-appointed special advocates. The Linsleys are teaming up with the Chargers Impact Fund to donate $60,000 to CASA LA, CASA OC. Why did you guys want to do this?
So when we got to Green Bay, we got involved with CASA there. It is a national organization. So there are CASA programs all across the US, which is awesome. And they support abused and neglected kids who are protected by the court system. So when a child is, being looked after by the court based on something that's maybe happened at home, or they're moving through foster care, the judge can assign an advocate who would visit the children once a week and just kind of check in with them and then truly be their voice in the courtroom. Children under 12 can't speak on their own behalf. So one of the things as advocates, you get to make the child's wishes known and speak with them and kind of see how things are going week in and week out. And just having that constant adult presence throughout the duration of their case is super important for these kids as they maybe move from home to home. Maybe they go back with their birth parents. There's a lot of change that they're going through at no fault of their own. And we know just from past experiences and studies that a constant caring adult is really important for these kids.
So in terms of that, you and Corey became advocates. And why did you guys choose to do that?
So when we got involved with CASA, one of the things it's really easy to be a spokesperson. And there are so many people that speak on behalf of many, many organizations. But for us personally, we were like, we're not going to get up and tell someone to do something that we're not doing ourselves. And when you actually get your feet wet and become a volunteer, I feel, Corey feels, we have so much more to say about it because we've done it. And you really get to experience, everything that it entails. And so basically, if you're going to talk the talk, walk the walk, that was kind of our mentality. And we really, it's been an amazing experience for us as a couple. And, now we've gotten family involved and friends, and that's really special to us.
That is really, really special. What was that process like?
So we did our training. It was 35 hours. We did it one off season when we were in Wisconsin. We loved it, actually. We were kind of sad when it ended, and every program does it a little bit differently. And certain states have, different requirements, just something to be aware of. But we really learned a lot about protective services, what a social worker does, what constitutes abuse and neglect. We took a look at some of our own personal family dynamics and how that plays into a child's success in school and just life in general. So it was a time that we got to do a lot of reflecting and we realized like how lucky we were to have loving, caring parents. You obviously don't get to choose your mom and dad. You don't get to choose who comes in and out of your life as a child. We learned a lot. Corey will tell you, and I think he said it in interviews before. He's like, I didn't even know what a social worker was until I did training, and that's true, and that's a testament to the way he was raised. And unfortunately, there's many children that interface with social workers on a regular basis. So
I think it's just remarkable that you guys worked with them in Green Bay. And then, like I said, this is your first year out here with the Chargers, but you're kind of just diving right in. You mentioned that reflection process, and you're both parents to two young boys, but what else did you maybe learn through your time working with CASA, and maybe what you kind of continue to learn working through them as well?
So our first big case was actually before we had children. And I think the biggest thing, seeing those kids every week, the relationship that we built, and just, realizing a few things that I think we've taken into how we parent our children. One is children are super resilient, and they just crave love and attention. Like, that's really all they need. And my mom has told me that since I was a young kid too, just like, if you can give your kids anything, just love them and give them your undivided attention. And I think especially when you're seeing these children in a short amount of time and not every single day, that hour is a really special, hour with them. And so that's something I, try to remind myself of as a parent now to my kids. And also, to relate to a child, you have to speak their language and kind of get on their level. And for most kids, that is play. So in a lot of ways, it was fun for us. Like that hour that we spent with our kids every week in Green Bay, it was like, all right, what are we going to do? We're going to paint pumpkins. We're going to like go to the park and play football, and just kind of being kids again ourselves, because that's really how you build a rapport and trust with them. It's what are they interested in? And then that's, as the weeks go by, that's sort of when you get to know them a little better, and maybe some of the more like deeper emotions and, feelings about their situations come out. It's not like you're just giving them a 20-minute interview every time you see them.
Right. No, that makes a ton of sense. Now, as I mentioned, November is the month of giving, and there's a really cool fan component to this as well. And through Giving Tuesday, which is November 30th, Chargers fans of any team can get involved with this donation. How can they do that?
So if you just go to chargers.com/CASA, there's a landing page right there. You can make a selection whether you like to support LA or OC. One of the reasons we wanted to support both is obviously the Chargers practice in Costa Mesa, and a lot of the players live here in Orange County, but obviously the team is LA, and there's a really high need in LA as well. And so either organization is doing wonderful things for many children. So can't go wrong either way. Obviously, we're going to match the donations, which is really exciting. And we really just wanted to make as big of an impact as we could in this short amount of time. And this time of year is always a great time to remember, those who are a little bit more vulnerable and need a little bit more help.
Yeah, there's no better time to do that. And then lastly, Anna, if someone is listening to this, I know you described the process a little bit and the amount of training that goes into it, but maybe what's the best way if someone wants to be a CASA advocate?
So it's really easy. You can Google CASA. I was just looking at LA's website. It's right there, in bold letters, becoming a volunteer. One thing that Corey and I always speak to is there's usually such a need for male volunteers. So if you know someone that has the ability to be a volunteer and is a male, a lot of these kids don't have, a male figure in their lives, and that's really important. Our case, we had two little boys, and I can tell you, like, having Corey there was amazing for them. And so yeah, you can look up CASA in your area, go to the website. Usually there's a contact us, learn more. I know I just saw Orange County has a information session coming up on November 15th. So you can easily find those. They happen pretty frequently. Just go learn more, hear about it. If you don't have if it's not your cup of tea, that's fine. If you don't have the time to give right now, maybe it's something you do a year from now. We completely understand that with 2 young children and moving across the country, there's always ways to give back. And we just really encourage people to look into it.
Well, you guys are doing such amazing work. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk about this today. And once again, that link, if you guys want to donate, anyone listening, is chargers.com/CASA. Anna, thank you so much. We really, really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.